Mister, don't cry. My mom can give you a place to stay, if you need one. Snowflakes drifted across the blue-white glow of Christmas lights. The city was alive, couples holding hands, children laughing, camera flashes everywhere. Yet the man in the charcoal coat sat alone on the cold bench, as if time itself had stopped around him. A small voice broke the silence, a soft, trembling voice that carried an impossible tenderness. Mister, don't cry. My mom can give you a place to stay, if you need one. The man shot a glare at the little boy who was now whispering to a golden puppy tugging its leash. No, Bruno, that's not Daddy. But he looks like someone who misses his family too. Maybe he needs love. The puppy barked gently, taking confident steps to close the distance between him and the man on the bench, nudging its head against the man's knee. The man, Alex West, 30, professor of artificial intelligence, CEO of one of the biggest tech companies in the country, slowly lowered his eyes that had carried 25 years of loneliness. He swallowed hard. That simple sentence. He needs love. That name. Bruno cracked something inside him, something he had welded shut for years. Alex had come here again. The same Christmas tree, the same bench, the same ritual. 25 years since the plane went down. 25 years since he last saw his parents and siblings waving at him through the airport glass. He never saw them again, but he still came here, every Christmas Eve, like a boy frozen in time, still waiting for a miracle. Today was no different until the child stood before him, a bright-eyed 4-year-old with a red scarf, plump cheeks and snowflakes stuck on his eyelashes. Sir, why were you staring at nothing for so long? My puppy thought you were sad. Alex blinked. Children had a strange way of touching the places adults avoided. Alex responded with gentle voice, cracking slightly. I guess I was waiting for someone who's never coming back. The little boy stepped closer, pulling something from his tiny pocket, a small Christmas gift box with a hand-drawn sticker that said, "For someone who needs it." He held it out. You can have it. Mommy says Christmas gifts are for people whose hearts are cold, so they can warm up again. Alex's breath shook. This boy had no idea what those words meant to him. When Alex was just 5, his entire world shattered. His parents, loving, wealthy, the kind of family other kids envied, boarded a Christmas Eve flight. The plane never returned, and neither did the life he knew. His aunt and her husband took everything, his inheritance, his father's company, his childhood mansion, his dignity. They forced him into slave labor inside the very home that once held his happiest memories. Little Alex mopped floors at dawn, scrubbed the tiles until his fingers bled, ate spoiled leftovers that even the housemaids refused to touch. He slept in the stallion's quarters, on a thin mattress beside a skinny brown dog, Bruno, his only friend. Bruno disappeared one stormy night and never came back, just like everyone else. But there was one person who never treated him like trash. Donatus, his late brother's best friend, the only adult who looked at Alex and saw a child, not a burden. Donatus became his world, his cheerleader, his protector, his reason to believe he wasn't cursed, until cancer took him too. Alex stole money from his aunt, millions, to save Donatus. He risked his life, but Donatus died after the first chemotherapy session, and Alex, he had nowhere to go, nowhere to return to. He ran into the world with nothing but survival instincts and a bruised spirit. Years later, he built an empire, but not a home. You don't have to subscribe. If this was just another story, if nothing in you paused when Alex sat on that bench, waiting for with empty hopes, if the little boy's words didn't stay with you longer than you expected, then it's okay to leave. But if something in your chest quietly shifted, That old feeling of waiting, of hoping someone would come back. Then this story wasn't an accident. We make these for people who still feel deeply, even when it hurts. If you're one of them, you already know what to do, and if you leave a comment, even a single word, someone else will realize they weren't alone either. Our story continues. Alex jolted back to present when the little boy touched Alex's hand. Cold, frozen, lifeless. The little boy voiced out with concern aching through his breath. "Your hands are freezing, like you've been alone for too long." Alex managed a tight smile. "You're very observant for someone your age." "I'm 4.5." He puffed his chest proudly. "And Daddy said boys who feel too much grow up fast." Alex's face hardened, not in anger but in a familiar ache. Alex lowered his gaze, his brows furrowed in with concern, which was written crystal clear on his face, and his voice escaped through his teeth, tremulously. "Where is your dad now?" Silence. Silence tensioned through the distance between both of them. The boy lowered his gaze, then let a soft whisper that was barely above his breath, but loud enough to be heard. "He went to heaven last year. Mommy cried for months. I cried too. But Mommy, she hides her tears now. She thinks I don't know." Alex's breath hitched. This child was carrying grief with the maturity of a grown man. He knelt down and looked the boy in the eyes. "You're brave, braver than many adults. Mommy says brave people are lonely sometimes, like you," he said, placing the small gift in Alex's hand. "So, don't be lonely today." A soft voice called out from a distance. "Daniel, sweetheart, where did you run off to?" Alex turned. Time stopped. She was beautiful, not in the glamorous magazine cover way, but in that quiet, heartbreaking way people look when they've survived too much. Warm eyes, soft curls hidden under a knitted cap, a worn-out wedding band still on her hand, a widow holding on. Her eyes landed on Alex. Something flickered. Recognition, concern, or that tug the universe gives when two broken souls are meant to collide. The woman gestured to Alex, breathless, unable to break the established eye contact. "I'm so sorry. He talks to strangers like he's known them forever. I hope he didn't disturb you." Before Alex could answer, the little boy grabbed her hand and tugged her toward him, then gently placed her hand on Alex's knee. "Mommy, he's sad, like you. Maybe you two can make each other not sad." She froze. Alex froze. The entire world froze. Her cheeks reddened with embarrassment. She quickly pulled her hand back. "Daniel, you can't just—" Her voice faded to a stop when Daniel cut through her words with innocent whispers that seemed loud to the hearing of all. "But Mommy, Daddy said love finds people when they stop looking." She covered his mouth lightly, mortified. Alex exhaled for the first time in what felt like minutes. Alex finally broke the awkward silence, warming softly to her with his firm, sonorous voice that was a little above his breath. "He's a very intuitive boy." She finally met Alex's eyes fully. There was warmth there, and fear, and something familiar. Loneliness, recognizing loneliness. "Christmas is hard for him. For both of us." She placed her palm on Daniel's little magical hand, stroking it gently as managed her words through her gritted teeth, struggling to keep a firm, unreadable face, yet her face gave her away. She could be read as an open letter. "I understand, more than you think. He was waiting for his family too, Mommy." Her eyes softened instantly. The maternal instinct in her reacted before her mind did. "I'm sorry. Were you waiting for someone?" she asked, pushing her head up to balance her unnoticeable, shaky gaze on Alex. Alex looked at the Christmas tree, then the sky, then at her. Alex began with a sonorous but firm voice. His face remained unreadable. I waited for 25 years, but I think what I have been waiting for was something else entirely. A gust of winter wind passed between them, but the warmth was unmistakable. See, Mommy, I told you, he needs us. The woman turned slightly and shot Alex an apologetic look again. I'm sorry about him, mister. He connects fast. Alex's lips twitched and relaxed. Twice his lips tickled before he could say a word, very unusual to him. Sometimes, children see what adults try to hide. Their eyes held, longer this time, as if two stories, two tragedies, were quietly acknowledging each other. The Christmas tree lights twinkled above them like a constellation brought down to earth. Families moved around, taking photos, unwrapping small gifts, sharing warm cups of cocoa. But for these three, the world had become strangely quiet. The woman held her son close as she steadied her breathing. Being near Alex felt like standing beside a stranger she somehow knew, as though life had crossed their paths on purpose. Alex sensed it too, a pull, a familiarity that made no sense yet felt undeniably real. Bruno barked, ending the long silence. While Daniel bent to pat Bruno, Alex returned his gaze to the woman and finally dropped gentleman's gesture. You didn't tell me your name. She hesitated. Something in her eyes whispered she hadn't told anyone her name in a long time, not since the funeral. My name is Clara. The name suited her, soft, pure, a little bruised by life. Daniel jumped excitedly. And I'm Daniel. But Mommy calls me Danny when she's happy, or when she's pretending not to cry. Clara winced. Danny? She called, rolling her eyes. Alex let out a soft smile that broke in successions. He was relearning how to smile now. His cheeks had not experienced any beam of genuine smile over the past 25 years. That's a powerful gift you have, Danny. What gift? Danny asked innocently in a little curious voice. Alex continued graciously. You say the truth without hurting people. Danny grinned, a child's innocent glow lighting his face like a lantern. Danny reached again for the small gift he had placed in Alex's palm earlier. Open it. I want to see if you smile. Alex's fingers trembled, not from the cold, but from an emotion he had forgotten the shape of. He lifted the lid. Inside was a tiny handmade bracelet, woven with red, green, and tiny beads shaped like stars. But what made Alex's throat tighten was the small wooden charm attached, a rough carving of a dog. Bruno. He felt the ground shift under him. Danny, how did you know? Danny shrugged innocently. I didn't. I just draw things I feel, and when I saw you, I felt like you loved a dog very much, and you lost him. Clara gasped softly, eyes widening as she covered her mouth. Danny, how did you? Danny, in typical 4-year-old fashion, simply answered, His eyes told me. Alex swallowed. He couldn't speak. Not yet. Clara saw this, and in a trembling whisper, Are you okay? Alex nodded, though his eyes glistened with the truth too heavy for words. Alex remembered the night Bruno disappeared. The thunderstorm. The way Bruno barked and pressed against his leg as if warning him. The slap from his aunt's husband. The burnt taste of spoiled food they were forced to eat together. That night, Bruno had run out into the rain, perhaps frightened, perhaps searching for freedom, and never returned. Alex sobbed into his mattress, whispering, If you ever find happiness without me, stay, don't come back. Because even at 5, Alex believed everyone he loved eventually suffered because of him. Alex blinked back into the present with a violent breath. Clara stepped forward before she even realized she had moved. Whoever you lost, I'm sure they're proud of the man you became. Alex stared at her, stunned. No one had ever said that to him, not once, not in 25 years. His lips parted, but no words came out. Danny tugged his coat. You can cry if you want. Mommy cries a lot. It makes her lighter. Clara blushed scarlet, turning to Danny. Danny, please. Alex, laughing through the pain, blurted out his heart in gracious words. It's okay. He's right. It was the first time Alex had laughed, truly laughed, in years. They moved to sit on the bench, Alex on one side, Clara on the other, Danny in the middle with Bruno the puppy dog curled on his lap. Clara rubbed her hands together awkwardly. It's funny. I never stop like this. I don't talk to strangers. I barely talk to neighbors. Alex's face brightened with subtle but light curiosity. Then why talk to me? Clara hesitated, then spoke with slow honesty. Because when Danny touched your hand, I saw your face, and for a moment, I saw my own grief staring back at me. Alex's heart thudded. You lost your husband. Clara nodded, eyes drifting to the lights as if remembering a ghost. Last December, stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He held my hand until he couldn't anymore. Danny was too young to understand, but he felt everything. Danny leaned gently on her. Mommy still talks to Daddy's pillow. Clara covered her face in embarrassment. Danny. Alex smiled softly. Grief is love that doesn't know where to go. Sometimes we give it to pillows. Clara lowered her hands, her eyes meeting his with a quiet gratitude. Danny watched their exchange with growing excitement. Mommy, you're smiling. Clara blinked. I'm just being polite. No, your smile is the one you used to give Daddy. The my heart feels warm smile. Clara's mouth parted in stunned silence. Her cheeks flushed as she looked away. Alex looked down too, his heartbeat unmistakably louder. Danny clapped happily. I like him. He has warm eyes and sad shoulders. Sad shoulders? Yes. Matter of fact. Daddy had those too when he tried to pretend he wasn't hurting. Clara sighed deeply. Danny, you're going to give this man the wrong idea. Danny rolled his eyes. It's not wrong. It's right. You're both lonely. And Bruno likes him. The puppy barked excitedly as if confirming it. Alex leaned back, snow landing on his dark hair like tiny stars. He wasn't supposed to feel this. Not today. Not ever. He had convinced himself long ago that love wasn't for men like him. Broken men, bruised by life, stitched together with ambition and emptiness. But Clara had a softness that didn't make him feel small, but seen. He looked at her again, and this time she didn't look away. Clara's eyes softened, deepened, warmed. The air between them changed, imperceptibly but undeniably. A spark, small, gentle, but very real. Danny saw it instantly and whispered, I think Daddy would like him, Mommy. Clara stiffened, emotional, startled, vulnerable. Alex's breath caught, whispering back, I hope so. Clara noticed the chain around Alex's neck for the first time, a simple pendant resting against his coat. That necklace, it looks old. Alex lifted it gently, almost reverently. Inside was a tiny photo. His family, his parents, older brother, baby sister, all smiling, all alive. Clara's face fell in empathy. She questioned with a voice barely above a whisper. Alex, were they? Silence stretched. Alex nodded. She covered her lips. A tear slipped silently down her cheek. Danny reached for her hand. Alex watched the tear fall, and for the first time in 25 years, someone cried for him. Not because of him, not in anger or cruelty, but out of empathy. Clara wiped her face, embarrassed. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Don't apologize. His voice cut through her words, soft and honest. Do you know, no one ever cried for them since the funeral. Not once, he added. Clara's hand instinctively reached for his. It hovered in the air, soft, hesitant, fragile, until Alex moved slightly closer. Their fingers brushed. Just a touch, but enough to send a quiet tremor through both of them, a moment that felt like a memory. For a minute, Alex and Clara didn't speak. Their fingers barely touched, yet the electricity of that accidental contact lingered in the cold air like a whispered promise. Danny, sitting between them, watched with pure innocence and a mischievous glow, and began, "See, your hands like each other." Clara snapped back to reality, throwing a cautionary eye in Daniel's direction. "Danny." But Alex chuckled, quiet, gentle, warm, a sound that made Clara look up again without thinking. "He's observant. More than most adults, I know," Alex added graciously. Clara turned her head to meet Alex. Her eyes glistened with fresh memories. "He gets it from his father. He used to notice everything, even my moods, before I said a word." There was a pause, a tender one, the kind that feels like two souls sharing the same breath. Alex's heart throbbed to calmness. He listened and could hear each beat of his heart caressing him to share a piece of his truth. He leaned forward to examine her eyes, like he was piercing into her soul, and questioned with a sonorous but calm voice. "And you? Who notices your moods now?" Clara's lips parted, but no answer came. She swallowed, paused before pouring out the pain she had bottled in her gut for months. "No one. Not really. I've been busy surviving, not living." Alex felt those words slice into him like truth he had never dared admit. He nodded. "I understand that better than you know." His voice was quiet but drenched in meaning. Clara gazed at him, not with pity but recognition. Clara waved her brewing emotions to the side and shot Alex a knowing question. "You've been alone a long time, haven't you?" Alex didn't flinch. His eyes glistened with something that felt like a burden would be lifted off his chest. 25 Christmases, 25 empty seats, 25 moments I hoped the world would give me back something it took. He looks at her deeply. "Tonight, it gave me something unexpected." Clara's heart stuttered, her cheeks warmed, her eyes softened. Danny whispered loudly to the puppy, "Mommy's heart is beating fast. That means she likes him." Clara nearly choked on air. "Daniel, stop narrating my emotions like a news reporter." Alex burst into laughter again, this one lighter, freer, alive. A soft snow began to fall. Children twirled around the square. Couples kissed under the lights. The smell of roasted chestnuts drifted through the air. But between Alex, Clara, and Danny, the world felt still, suspended, almost sacred. Alex watched Clara brush snow from Danny's curls and felt something unfamiliar rise inside him. A longing, a warmth he hadn't felt since he was 5. She adjusted Danny's scarf, then sat straighter. "My husband, Aaron, he fought for a year. We thought we'd beat the cancer. He even promised Danny they'd build a snowman together this Christmas." She exhaled shakily. "He didn't make it to the first snowfall." Danny climbed into her lap, burying his face in her coat. Clara kissed the top of his head. Alex gave a series of curt nods as he said softly, "Losing someone you love, it doesn't get easier. You just learn to carry it." Clara nodded, grateful. "You sound like you've been carrying more than anyone should." Alex tilted his head back, staring at the glowing sky. "I used to think survival was the victory, but now I think surviving without feeling anything is the real defeat." Clara's eyes widened slightly, as if he had spoken a truth she'd long feared to name. Danny tapped Alex's knee. "Can we walk around the tree together, like a family?" Clara nearly dropped him. "Danny, you cannot." But Alex looked at Danny with a soft, almost fatherly expression. "I'd like that." He bought the idea. Clara blinked, caught between shock and something much softer. "You would?" Clara's face brightened in mild shock. Danny's right. No one should spend Christmas alone. Clara's breath caught. Danny jumped off the bench, triumphant. I knew it. Let's go. Come on. Mommy, hold his hand. Clara was mortified. No. Danny, stop pushing. Danny grabbed their hands and forced them together. Alex and Clara's fingers locked awkwardly at first. Then gently. Warmth bloomed through both their palms. Clara froze. Alex didn't move. He simply held her hand with quiet steadiness, letting her choose whether to pull away. She didn't. They walked slowly, circling the enormous Christmas tree. Lights reflected in the snow like 1,000 fallen stars. Danny ran ahead, chasing the puppy, squealing with joy. Alex looked at Clara. He really looked. Her rosy cheeks, her wind-brushed hair, her soft, tired eyes that had carried too much for too long. Clara, you're stronger than you realize. She blushed, genuinely surprised. Why do you say that? Because broken people who still choose to love. Those are the strongest people in the world. Clara's eyes shimmered. A band near the tree began playing a soft Christmas ballad. Slow, melancholy, beautiful. Danny ran back, pulling Alex and Clara. Dance. Everyone's dancing. Please. Alex's brows lifted. Clara blushed a deeper shade. Oh no, I can't. I haven't danced since. Alex's lip curled into a faded smile, offering his hand to Clara. It's just a slow dance. You can close your eyes. I'll lead. Clara stared at his extended hand. Her chest tightened. Her throat trembled. She reached out, but her fingers stopped inches from his. A shadow crossed her face. I can't. It feels like I'm betraying him. Alex stepped closer, not forcefully, but gently. You're not betraying him, Clara. You're remembering what it feels like to be alive. Tears filled her eyes instantly. She pulled her hand back and covered her mouth. I'm sorry. This is too much. Alex lowered his hand, understanding, and whispered a little above his breath. It's okay. I'm not going anywhere. Danny placed his small hands on Clara's cheeks. Mommy, Daddy said if someone ever makes your heart feel warm again, don't run. Just try. Clara broke. A soft sob escaped her lips. Alex looked away out of respect for her vulnerability. Yet every part of him wanted to hold her. Silence stretched, the kind of silence that could allow one hear hearts throbbing loud. Mister, we need to go now, Clara declared tremulously. Her voice gave her away. Alex read her face like all she said was pasted there. His shoulders dropped in near disappointment. I'm sorry. I pushed for a dance. If you are not comfortable, we could... Forget it. Alex stuttered. He couldn't believe he was stuttering. The billionaire, CEO, the hardened CEO. Mummy, I want to stay, Daniel protested. Bruno barked twice like supporting Daniel's raised motion. Clara bent to reach Daniel's height, sending a warming hug. A ritual she used to escape Daniel's demands whenever he is hell-bent on what he wants. Sorry, mister. We have to go. Alex's gut became heavy, same with his hand, which was hanging in the air, after waving at Clara, Daniel, and Bruno, who were now out of sight. He felt like darkness converged around him again, and the earth came crashing in on him. His world crumbled to nothingness. The void burst open, even wider now. I will never see them again, he thought. The previous night only felt like he had tricked himself into a glimmer of hope that love exists. Now he was more than shattered at work. He couldn't give orders like usual. His workers kept murmuring like a swarm of anxious bees each time he walked past them with dropped shoulders. He looked defeated, unlike the Alex they knew. Today he retired from work before his usual late-night work time. Before the night could whisper, he was gone. Clara had just finished tucking Danny into bed when she heard the door creak. Snow fell heavier that night, not the playful kind, but the quiet, persistent kind that made the city feel smaller and loneliness louder. The door creak sound came again. A soft scrape, a jingle. Her heart stuttered. "Danny," she whispered. No answer. Then she saw it. The leash. On the floor. Empty. Her breath left her in one sharp, panicked exhale. "Danny!" she called, rushing down the hallway. He was already standing there, with sleepy eyes half closed, pajama sleeves twisted in his fists. "Mommy," his voice cracked. Bruno followed a feeling. Her heart sank. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" Danny swallowed hard, trying to be brave. Clara grabbed her coat without thinking, alarming Danny to join her in the search for missing Bruno. "Shoes! Get them!" Clara ordered, and in heartbeat the duo disappeared into the night. They searched the block, then the next street, calling his name into the night like a prayer. "Bruno, please." Danny stopped suddenly, not panicking, not crying, just certain. He pointed down the snow-lit street, toward the glow, toward the tree, toward the bench. "He's not lost," Danny said softly. "He went back." Clara's chest tightened. "Back where?" Danny looked up at her, eyes calm in a way that scared her. "To where someone needs him." Alex stood at the bench again. He hadn't planned to. But after Clara and Danny left the night before, something in him collapsed. The laughter faded too quickly. The warmth vanished too fast. He sat there now, staring at the same lights, heart aching. Alex's mind at the time felt like a factory with buzzing heavy-duty machinery. His thoughts could make bubbles if immersed on water. I told myself not to hope. But hope doesn't ask permission. It just shows up and ruins your defenses. He rubbed his face, breath shaky. "I shouldn't have let myself feel that," he muttered. "Connections don't stay." Then, a bark, sharp, familiar, joyful. Alex froze. "Bruno!" The puppy burst from the snow, leash trailing behind him, paws skidding, and launched straight into Alex's chest. Alex dropped to his knees instantly. "Oh no! No way!" He laughed and cried at the same time as Bruno covered his face in frantic kisses. "You came back?" Footsteps, soft, rushed. Alex looked up. Clara stood there, breathless, eyes wide. Behind her, Danny beamed like he'd solved a secret puzzle. "I told you," Danny said proudly. "He doesn't like sad endings." Alex couldn't speak. He stood slowly, Bruno pressed against his leg. His voice broke. "I thought I'd never see you again." Clara felt that sentence hit somewhere deep. "I almost didn't come," she admitted quietly. "But then Danny said something I couldn't ignore." Danny nodded solemnly. "Mommy needs you, and you need us." Clara gasped softly. "Daniel." Alex swallowed, heart pounding. "I was scared," Alex confessed suddenly. The words spilled before he could stop them. "I've built companies. I've survived things I shouldn't have." He looked at Clara. "But last night, walking away from you." His voice cracked. "It felt like losing something I hadn't even been given yet." Clara's eyes filled instantly. "I felt it too," she whispered. "I just didn't know if I was allowed to." Danny looked between them, confused. "Allowed by who?" Neither of them answered, because they both knew. Danny suddenly clapped. "Okay, okay," he grinned. "This is getting very dramatic." Alex laughed through tears which he kept tucked in his guts and eyelinings. "You think so?" "Yes. Daddy used to say grown-ups cry too long before they hug." Clara laughed despite herself. Danny grabbed Alex's hand and placed it gently on Clara's. "There. Fixed." Bruno barked loudly, tail wagging like he was signing a contract. Alex looked at their joined hands, then at Clara. She didn't pull away. The snow slowed. The city breathed. Clara hesitated, then spoke quietly. We were just heading home. She looked at Alex, vulnerable but hopeful. Would you like to come with us? Alex blinked, not from shock, from relief. I don't want to intrude, he said softly. Danny shook his head firmly. You're not intruding, he smiled. You're arriving. Bruno barked again in full agreement. Clara smiled, not nervous, not guarded. Open. I don't know what this is yet, she said honestly, but I'd like to find out. Alex nodded slowly. So would I. Danny slipped his small hand into Alex's. Clara walked beside them. Bruno trotted ahead, tail high. No promises spoken, no labels forced, just four souls moving in the same direction. For the first time in decades, Alex didn't feel like he was waiting anymore. He was walking with them. And somewhere between that bench and Clara's front door, a broken boy inside Alex finally believed, some losses don't end, they transform. Home may not be huge structures, it can just be that one person who shows up with kindness. We don't just make stories, we create a home. You may miss being part of this big, hearty home if you don't hit the subscribe button now. Before hitting the like icon too, as a big home and family, we would like to know where you're watching from and how you felt about Bruno, Clara, Danielle, and Alex. Comment if it feels personal. Share it with someone who's still waiting for a place to call home. Storyverse is a home for people who feel deeply. If that's you, don't leave. You already know the right buttons to hit to get a warm welcome hug to the family.